From the intersection of Interstate 70 and Highway 63, just a few miles south of the University of Missouri. What is up? I am Michael Spencer. Thank you for tuning into the Michael Spencer Sports Show. With me, of course, as always, Cheston McGuire. Cheston, how are you?
Fine, happy to be here. We got to get a new name for the show, though.
Yeah, we'll work on that later. Maybe when you start showing up on time, we'll put your name in the show. Well, it is the first Sunday after the college football season, so naturally we're going to lead off with college football. And it looked like the big story coming out of college football was actually going to be what happened Thursday night with the Oregon-Boise State incident, in which LeGarrette Blount decided to go Mike Tyson and knock out a Boise State lineman, and then tried to go run our test, but was held back from going into the stands. He was later suspended for a year, well, the rest of the season. Thoughts on the suspension?
I think it's justified. My only sadness for him isn't he a senior now?
Yep, he's a senior.
And isn't going to be able to get eligibility back for the suspension, or what?
Nope, he's done playing football at Oregon.
Career is officially over. So
Yep.
That's disappointing. That he got a little ahead of himself for 1 minute and punched. I could see a half-season suspension, but he didn't actually make it to the stands.
You know, I think the deal is, though, he's had a bunch of problems in the past, and I think you have to suspend him. And it becomes an issue of, you know, what kind of message are you sending to your players? I think if he just hits the guy, he gets a suspension, but it's not a whole season. He not only did he hit the guy, he went off on his own teammates and then tried to go into the stands. Lord knows what happened in that locker room after the game as well.
Yeah, it's just such a shame that he just got in the heat of the moment and made such a big mistake. And
it was a very stupid mistake on his part, and something that he's now going to have to live with for the rest of his life. The argument will be that he'll still be able to compete for a position in the NFL. He was rumored to be a second or third round draft pick. Now he'll most likely be undrafted. But he'll probably still go to the combine, probably do all the workouts and everything like that. And you wish the best for the kid. I think Chip Kelly was right when he came out and he said, we're not going to give up on LeGarrette Blount. He's still going to be part of the team. He's still going to practice with us, but he won't be playing in games. Now, the real question is, what does LeGarrette Blount do with that? Does he actually practice with him, or does he say, screw this, if I'm not going to play, I'll leave. What's the point? I mean, I think it would obviously be to his benefit to stay at Oregon, get a degree, take full advantage of all the scholarship, all the opportunities that comes with the scholarship. But that's up to him now.
Who does that, though? I mean,
well, and that's
he
the
should,
thing.
but it's just a problem with society that they're not doing that.
And that's the thing. He's got to take care of that. So from LeGarrette Blount, who was the biggest story, who then got overshadowed by Sam Bradford, of all people, the former Heisman Trophy winner, shoulder problems. That's not good when you're a quarterback.
No, and that's not good for Oklahoma right now because the backup just did not look that good.
He struggled, including the delay of game on the 1 yard line. And, Oklahoma ended up losing to BYU, which was legit. BYU was a decent team, and they had a chance to beat them with or without Sam Bradford. But now going on, of course, Oklahoma now has the cupcake part of their schedule until they play Miami. Most likely Bradford will be back by that Miami date. But, you begin to wonder, Oklahoma not only loses a good player, but they lose their leader.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an incredible loss. And then have a true freshman or redshirt freshman come in and play for him is just not the same.
Well, it's definitely not the same, and it'll be interesting to see what Oklahoma does. Luckily, Oklahoma has good players everywhere on the field, and they always will as long as Bob Stoops is there. And so when you lose a guy like Bradford, it's kind of like when they lost Rhett Bomar. Everybody was like, oh, no, we're losing Rhett Bomar. And granted, Rhett Bomar is not the caliber of player Sam Bradford is, but Oklahoma did all right that season.
Yeah. I mean, I think things will ultimately be okay for him because it's not going to be out that long. And like you said, they do have a good team. And he only spotted him 7 points yesterday. And like you said, BYU is a good team. Max Hall is a great quarterback, and they were able to hold on just enough, but just not enough in the end.
And certainly props to BYU for going down to Dallas, where obviously it was a bipartisan Oklahoma crowd. But props to BYU going in there and getting a big W.
That's not an easy game to schedule on your schedule and then pull it off.
No, and it speaks very well for their conference with Boise State getting a big win over Oregon. Speaks very well that maybe the WAC does deserve a BCS bid. We'll see. Those things sure to come down from the powers that be. Other notable games yesterday, Ohio State struggle against the Midshipmen of Navy.
Well, I guess I was really surprised because a lot of people think that Navy might be a good sleeper pick this year for some good bowls, but I just don't see it. I didn't see it last year. I don't see it this year, but they really put a hurting on OSU.
Yeah, they did, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next weekend when OSU and USC collide. Because USC, they've got a freshman quarterback, but they're studly all around. I mean, Joe McKnight was amazing yesterday.
Yeah, their running game just tore it up.
Their running game is unbelievable, and that's why at USC you can have a freshman quarterback this year. Just say, don't turn the ball over. Don't lose games for us. We'll go out there and win them for you. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens when USC and OSU collide. You know, USC certainly worked them pretty good last year, and
I think the same's going to happen this year, though.
I would venture
Terrell
to say
Pryor's
that
not that big of a difference maker.
that the same thing
USC is just too strong of a
is
team.
going to happen. Let's see other notable games staying in the Big Ten. Iowa needing 2 field goals to beat Northern Iowa. Are you serious?
That was ridiculous. That they were trailing most of the game, barely took the lead, and had to block 2 field goals just to hold on.
Ridiculous.
Northern Iowa.
And come on now. I've always thought that Iowa was overrated. Always. I've never, even when they had Tate, I've always thought they were overrated.
Oh yeah.
But I don't get it. I don't know if it's a Big Ten thing or what.
Or are they ranked right now?
Yeah, they were 17th.
Oof. That's even worse.
Yeah.
I always find them to be overrated in general. The entire Big Ten, nobody deserves the accolades they get, but I think they're a team that even with a win should be dropped out of top 25 right now.
Speaking of top 25 teams, Notre Dame with the big win. Of course, Lou Holtz's boys right there.
On their way to his prediction.
Yeah. Big win over Nevada, which I don't know if that speaks well for Notre Dame or speaks poorly for Nevada.
Well, watching part of that game, Nevada just looked atrocious. Now, Nevada usually doesn't have a bad program. It's just middle of the pack usually, but they just looked atrocious, and hopefully it's just because of Notre Dame's play, not them, but I just don't think Jimmy Clausen is that good at dissecting defense.
No, I don't think. I think Jimmy Clausen's been overrated since the day he committed to Notre Dame. And speaking of overrated, Virginia Tech, they always throw me for a loop because they're always supposed to be so good, but I always see them as overrated, and it happened again last night. They played a decent game against Alabama, but they lost. I always see them as a team that is much, much better on paper than they actually are on the field.
Well, I think a lot of the credit they get is just because Coach Frank Beamer and the fact that he always brings a strong defense, and then the rest they usually think is going to fall in place because he plays a consistent Beamer ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. But I just think last night Alabama's a good team. People thought they were overrated just because of one loss last year in the Sugar Bowl. The fact is they're a good team.
And the fact they got rolled in the SEC championship.
Well, Florida. I don't think anybody.
True.
I don't think
true. I mean,
who was going to stop Florida at that point? That's all I'm just saying. The Utah game is what everyone hated, but I think Virginia Tech's going to be a decent team this year. Generally, they can be overrated, but I think they get a lot of hate just being in the ACC without a lot of competition.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens in that Florida-Miami game on Monday as well, and see what the ACC can do for themselves this year in football. Speaking of ACC, Greg Paulus yesterday quarterbacking Syracuse.
To a loss.
Oh, jeez. Goodness gracious. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll take a look at the rosters that have been finalized in the NFL. We'll also talk a little bit of baseball. You're listening to Michael Spencer Sports Show.